Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. If this information is helpful or useful for you, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Today I am coming from 2 Kings chapter 5, and I'm talking about Naaman, okay? The whole posture, his whole attitude, and the way he was when Elijah told him to dip himself in the pool, in the Jordan River 7 times. He almost blocked his blessing by complaining. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I am guilty. I am very guilty of used to be complaining. I used to complain. Even when God maybe put me in a situation, I used to complain, and not purposely, but sometimes you get with your friends and and that talking turns into complaining, right? Now, as I matured, I don't complain. I look at it, God, what are you teaching me out of this? Whatever else questions I need to ask God in it. I refuse to complain, because just like the Israelites, you would honestly stay in that thing longer than you're supposed to by complaining. Or perhaps your heart posture, perhaps the way you think, your pride, you think you're all that, because Naaman also, his you could tell he had a little attitude problem or prideful, because of who he was, right? So today we're going to talk about that. And like I said, for me, that was an issue, not now, but I'm relaying the messages to you guys so you can observe your own life and see, are you complaining about anything? What is your heart posture? Or are you a prideful person? Because here's another thing. In today's generation, we do have a lot of young adults that are hungry for God and really living for God. So if a younger adult come to you and give you a word or tell you to do something or not do, you may be puffed up and give feedback in a negative way, because you're probably thinking that this young adult cannot tell you anything about your life, because you've been walking this walk 50 years, plus you done read the Bible 10 back and front, maybe 10 times. No, they actually can feed into us. They actually can tell us things. Me, anyway, I'm teachable. I am very teachable. So it's not like, a young adult couldn't come and minister to me, because they could. But Naaman had this little pride. So we're going to go digging. Now, you're going to go digging, because I done went digging. You are going to read chapter 5 of 2 Kings. And you're going to sit with God, and you're going to ask the Holy Spirit to reveal whatever it is that you need for your life today. Because you can read that today, and next week read it, and he reveal you something totally different, right? So I am going to give you my notes off of don't allow complaining to block your blessings. We don't want to do that. When something is bothering us, we are to take it to God. It's not that you can't discuss it with your friends, because you can. But I don't want you guys to get in a habit of complaining. I want you to get in a habit of having gratitude and asking God questions like, what is it you're trying to teach me in this season or in this lesson? And that's what I had to learn. I have to ask questions. I go to God first, friends second. And sometimes I don't even go to them at all. And that has been my posture these last 3 years. We might discuss it, this and that and the third. But my first thought is always, I'm going to God. I'm always going. And I had to grow into that, okay? Naaman had a need, but he almost missed his miracle. And see, that's the thing. I have a need, you have a need. And the need that we need from God, we need to have a heart of posture of expectations and no limits. So if he put you in a sticky situation, that is not for you to complain about what he put you in. I'm not saying that you shouldn't cry or you shouldn't just be like, God, what are you doing? Because I do that, but at the same time, there's a bigger picture. As long as you know that there is a bigger picture, that complaining will cease. That complaining will cease. Okay. Why would God want to bless us and give us what we need, which he promised, whenever he give you that need, or before he even give you that need, rather, all you're doing is complaining. You are to be already thanking God. Like, I already thank God for my brand new car, or the finances He's going to give me to fix that car or to pay these bills. I'm already thanking Him in advance for that. I'm not complaining about it. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what the outcome is, but the outcome for me is He's going to make a way. And He's already made a way. It just haven't arrived to me yet, right? So, Naaman was a respected commander, powerful, wealthy, and had major influence, but he had leprosy. His title didn't stop him from having a problem he could not solve. His title did not stop him from having a problem he could not solve. So, Naaman, we already know, had power. He was respected commander. So, of course, he was puffed up a little bit, right? He had to be. Most people are that probably felt like they weren't nothing when they were younger. So now they got all this position and power and get puffed up about their situation. And that is why it is vital to stay rooted in God and let God bring you from that broken low place and have your foundation built on Him. Because when He brings you up, you won't be puffed up. You won't have an attitude problem. You won't look at these young adults like nobody can tell you nothing, right? Yeah. But the second thing in this is this right here too. He had a leprosy, but he did not allow his leprosy to stop him from being who he was. And a lot of times we stop allowing that disability or no finances, or I don't speak well. That was my thing, speaking and making mistakes. I felt like, I wasn't the part that God wanted me to do. I just wasn't. I'm just a little girl from a small city, from the projects. So who am I that you want to use me? But He did, and He is. I had that issue, but now I don't. Now I'm bold. I have confidence. I don't care if I just don't. I'm doing what God called me to do. Okay. You can have money, a job, a family, and still have something in your life you cannot fix by yourself. Some of the things we are fighting right now are only things that God can fix. God can heal, restore, or deliver us from. Oftentimes, and especially right now with the way the world is, it's almost like there's nothing we can do, God. Oh, you can stand on you can pray, you can fast, but it is a lot of things in our life that we cannot fix, that God has to fix. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care if you're wealthy. I don't care if you poor, poverty, whatever the case may be. There is something in your life only God can fix. Only God. Only God. If you can fix everything in your life, what was the point of Jesus dying on the cross? It wouldn't make no sense, right? God has unlimited ways to bless you, but we limit Him to our preferences. That was me as well. I limited God, and I got to a place also where, okay, God can bless this person and that person, but even though I'm praying for a blessing, I didn't believe it for myself that He could bless me. I can look at my life right now and still say the same thing, but I don't. Because I know why I'm in this process. Your why is what's going to take you further. Why are you doing this? Your why. It's not for me. All right. It's partially for me, but the big picture is this right here. You are placed here to help somebody else. You are somebody else's solution. I am somebody else's solution. So if I didn't go through all the things that I went through, I would not be able to relate to you guys at all. And for the fact that the majority of my life was a struggle, and I was miserable, allows me to know that I do have a bigger purpose. I am here to help others. You just have to come in. You just got to come in alignment with God and come in alignment with yourself too and forgive yourself. You got to do all these things. You got to work on you. And at some point in your life, you'll get to the place where you're thinking like, okay, it is beneficial for you. Even though you're the one that's going through it, it's more beneficial to the people that God has assigned to you. And that itself should give you joy. I'm not selfish. I'm selfless. So I can suffer. I can go through this, God, in order to help somebody else out of theirs. It saddens me when I see people still stuck in their trauma, still stuck in their past, and not trying to figure their life out in that way. And the only way you're going to know who you are is finding your identity in Christ, in your voice, right? So, Naaman wanted magic, not obedience, because you remember when Naaman was like, he thought that Elijah was just going to bless him from the door and just say something. No, Elijah actually gave him orders to go dip himself in the Jordan River. I think it was the Jordan River, and I got the book right here, in the Jordan River 7 times. But to me, when you read it, I felt like Naaman thought, I'm not doing that. I'm too good to do that. You can't just bless me from the door. If I'm going to get blessed from leprosy, I don't care how you're going to bless me. I got to dip in the Jordan River 7 times. And there's a reason why it says 7 times. You look that reason up. What is the importance of the number 7? But if you told me to do that, I'm going to do it. Sometimes God tell you to do something, you give a pushback because you want to know why. God is not going to always, God is not going to show you your whole future in front of you anyway, because you can't handle it. And secondly, we go through the things that we go through so that whenever the time comes, it won't break us, the other things that we're going to go through. But you got to be strong. You just got to go through. You just got to go through. You just got to go through. But you got to have gratitude. You can't be puffed up. You got to know, okay, obedience is better than sacrifice. Partial obedience also is also disobedience. Right? Naaman had an attitude problem. That's what I say. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. But Naaman went away angry. We often pray for a blessing, but reject the package it comes in. We want God to send help, but not through the people we don't like. Rather. Open the door, but only the one we want. Give a miracle, but without requiring obedience. Change our life, but with no discomfort. Sometimes we say God isn't moving, when really God moved. But we didn't like the direction. We didn't like the direction. We don't like the direction. When God tells you to move, or God tells you to do something, or God sits you down like he's doing me, it's not pretty, and I don't like it. I'm very uncomfortable, but here it's all for a plan. It's all for a purpose. God, bring me a husband. Oh no, he's too short. No, I want somebody light skinned. No, I want somebody dark skinned. When in fact, God done sent you your husband or wife, but you didn't like the way it was packaged. So you sent it back. How you going to pray for a blessing and keep sending things back? You got to learn to know when God is sending something. Now, Satan can send you the same thing, so you need to be able to discern who sent it, right? You got to be able to discern. It's just crazy how we are as humans, and I know our Father is like, now this girl just asked for a blessing, and I sent it, but she didn't even receive it. She sent it back. Why? Because you didn't like the way it was packaged. This girl asked for a job. I gave her a job. And actually, what she don't know is I was going to use her on that job. But she turned it down because she felt like it was below her or him. Complaining blinds you to what God is doing. Naaman complained. Read the story of how he reacted. Okay? He complained about the river, about the instructions, about the method, about the prophet's behavior, about how it didn't match what he imagined. And that is what the problem is too. Here's my thing, what I did. I asked God, I got to a point in my life where I actually wanted to study. I wanted to spend time. I love it. I would sit in God's Bible hour after hour researching. I just love it. I'm just very curious. And I also love it because I have to hold on to his words in order for me to get through my process. But I remember asking him all the time, like, make provision where I can be able to sit and spend time with you. And when I say make provision, I mean financially, God. Like, make sure I got money in my bank or whatever, so I don't have to worry about money while I'm sitting with you. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. And sometimes today I have to revert back to God. I said, make provision. How can I read your word thinking about, am I getting an eviction notice on the door or the lights? And I just like, God, it just make sense. It doesn't have to make sense to me. It makes sense to him. Because he's increasing my capacity. He's teaching me faith. He's teaching me how to sustain on him. Because for one, like I said, I was always the strong one. And then I did work and paid my bills. So now he's teaching me who he is as the source of my life. Yeah. So I went through that. I complained about the method. I complained about the instructions. And it's not, when I ask for a blessing, this is not what I asked for, God. This is not what I asked for. But would I have it any other way now? No. No. Complaining made the miracle look too small. It made obedience look unnecessary. It made the blessing look insulting. The way Naaman, to me, reacted is just how we do today. It's just, it was embarrassing. But when you're mature, now you're looking like, God, why did I do it like that? Because now I know Naaman looked at it the same way. Like, I complained. I was puffed up asking him about the Jordan River. Why do I need to dip myself in the river 7 times? But he dipped himself in the river 7 times, and look what happened. He was healed from his leprosy. But look at what he did before. Acted like a baby having a tantrum. That's how we do, right? That's how we do. And then we have to go back. God, I'm sorry. Complaining made the miracle look too small. How dare you belittle God's blessing just because it don't look like a blessing? It's not wrapped all up in something big or with your name on it. You don't know. You should have gratitude, grateful for anything. Like, I'm so grateful for a penny. Anything my friends give me, I honestly am so grateful for. I don't care if it is a penny. That's how grateful I am. And then I, in turn, thank God for allowing them to be able to give me a penny. And I use a penny because that's the lowest value in the money world. But I'm just trying to show you how grateful my heart is. How grateful my heart is. I don't take anything for granted because people don't have to do anything for you. People don't have to give. People don't have to give their time. Absolutely nothing. They don't have to. Okay. Complaining makes your job look worse than it is. Your blessing looks smaller. Your progress looks slower. You can help. Your help look like an inconvenience. God's instructions look like a burden. And that's exactly what I did. This blessing that I'm in. This is a blessing. Even though I'm suffering, it's a blessing. How dare I complain? How dare I complain? Complaining is the enemy of clarity and gratitude. You cannot see what God is doing when your heart is full of complaining. Sometimes the miracle is hidden in the simple, humbling instructions. Here's the thing, what we miss. A lot of us think that God has to do this boom, big old thing to get a blessing across. No. The smallest hidden blessing is the most valuable to me. You see what I'm saying? The miracle is hidden in the simple, which means I don't need this whole big parade of things for God to show me who he is. God often does things and it's simple. It's simple. I think a lot of us are looking for something just all blown out so the world can see and this and that, the third. No. Jesus is a simple person. He's simple. The miracle was not in the river. The miracle was in the obedience. And a lot of times we are looking for our blessings, our miracles in other places, when in fact that miracle is in that obedience of what God has told you to do, or what you know you need to do, whether it's to let go something, go somewhere, stop doing this, sit, rest, whatever it is. That is where your miracle and your blessing is. By being obedient. By being obedient. God used something simple to expose Naaman's pride. And that's the thing. Naaman had pride. He was too puffed. He dipped 7 times, not one. Healing took humility, not status. I am a person, I am very humble. Just by the lifestyle and just by the life that I lived and where I'm coming from I always say childbirth, that has humbled me a great deal. I take absolutely nothing for granted. I am very humble. If somebody want to love me or give me something, I am very humbled about the experience. I don't mind learning from others. I don't know more than nobody. I'm just still enjoying the fact that you chose me, God. So make sure that you're humbling yourself. You got to. You can't be puffed up. Okay, God may tell you to forgive someone you don't want to, apologize first, take a lower position, let go of a relationship, sow a seed where you don't want to, heal by following uncomfortable instructions. Miracles often requires uncomfortable obedience. And I went through all of this. I remember 2 jobs. One job I was on, God had to teach me for 6 years about my mouth. And I honestly got it. And then even then I had to go back and keep apologizing. I'm like, God, I'm never going to pass this test. And I finally passed it last year and this year. Yeah. I finally passed it. Like, okay. Not everybody's actions need a reaction from me. Okay, it is what it is. Even if a person's right, I'm gonna let you have that. And as far as me saying things, yes, it's a way you can say things. It's always a way to be nice, nasty, and keep it moving where I don't have to go and repent and then ask for apology later. That was a major one. Gratitude unlocks what? Complaining delays. Naaman left healed, but he could have gotten healed sooner. He could have spared himself anger, frustration, pride, and wasted time. His gratitude finally replaced his complaining. And that's what we do. Our complaining delays things. You could have been doing whatever it is God told you to do, but you was complaining. You were complaining. So that's why it's taking longer. And me too, perhaps. Now, but now I'm walking in what I'm supposed to be walking in. But if I would have known a little sooner, I would have been, I want to say a little further than I am, but I've come to believe that I'm right where I'm supposed to be, even in my midst of delayed and complaining, right? Many of us delay blessings because we spend more time complaining than obeying. Complaining slows your faith. Complaining slows your faith. Open your eyes. But gratitude, I'm gonna tell you, gratitude, open your eyes, softens your heart, helps you be obedient quickly, increases your expectation, aligns you with God's timing. Sometimes God is ready to bless you, but your attitude is blocking the breakthrough. And I know this to be true. If you are unhealed or you dealing with any trauma or any past issues, your blessing is hindered to a certain degree. Okay, you also may have an attitude problem, a behavior issue because of those things. So that is also going to hinder you to a certain degree. You need to get healed. You need to take God, what you know is going on inside of here. Take it to God so you can get healed and get on through. Okay, so God has no limitations. God has no, you can't box him. You cannot box God. You cannot box Jesus in a box. He does what he wants. But he does everything to benefit us and him. There is nothing God does as a punishment or suffering that you're not going to get the joy out of. He can bless you through strangers, through uncomfortable instructions, through places you don't like, through people you didn't expect, through methods that makes no sense, because it made no sense to Naaman to go and dip himself in the river 7 times. That made no sense. It probably wouldn't make sense to me either, but I'm going to do it, especially after I read Naaman. So if somebody come to me now and say, hey, I need you to go dip yourself in a pool because I can't swim. So in a pool 6 times, I'm going to do that. And why would I do that? Because I see the results of Naaman and I want to be obedient. And then I have to know that God has no limits. So whatever and however he wants to bless me, I'm going to let him do it and I'll be satisfied, right? The question is not, can God? Because God can. The question is, will you obey without complaining? And that's the problem. When we go in prayer, God, can you do this? Can you do that? We're praying, we're begging, we're doing this and we're doing that. But at the same time, your mouth is full of complaining and you're not obeying. Because the miracle is on the other side of gratitude, humility, and trust. You may be, your obedience right now to what you know God is calling you to do, you may be on the verge of your breakthrough after you obey. So if this content, if this helped you in any way, make sure you have a paper and pen when you watching my videos so you can write down. But if it's helping you or encouraging you or motivating you in any way, all glory be to God. That's who you go to Christ. I'm leading you to Christ, not me, Christ. Everything that I do or did is with Christ. You cannot do this on your own. You cannot do it with me. You can only take this information and do it with Christ. But if this information is helpful, and even if it's not helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share it. It costs nothing to share it. Have a good one.